And hello and welcome everybody on InlandValleyBaseball.com. As you know, we got a little bit of a late start yesterday, about 10 minutes after the set time. But as you can see here today, that is not going to happen as it's 3:57 local time, and we should get play started right at 4 o'clock on the dot. So that, of course, is a welcome sight to our viewers at home and, well, wherever you may be, whether or not you're watching in the comforts of your own home, or you're listening on a car phone, or you're watching and listening to me at the same time in the stadium, or happen to be at the beach for 4th of July. I mean, obviously, if you're at the beach and you're tanning, what more could you want than being able to watch Inland Valley Baseball take on the Mission Trails Jackrabbits here today on July 3rd, just one day away from the 4th of July. Of course, Championship Day will take place tomorrow on Monday the 4th. And what that means is the semifinals as well as championship game will be played on Monday. So all things go according to plans for Inland Valley. The Bucs would have a date in the semifinals here at Grossmont College tomorrow, as well as potentially a championship game. But before we can do that, they're going to have to handle business today. They're going to have to take care of business against the aforementioned Mission Trails Jackrabbits, a member of the San Diego Coastal Collegiate League. So the second member of the San Diego Coastal Collegiate League in a row that the Inland Valley Buccaneers will do battle with here at Grossmont College. Grossmont College is the home field for this tournament, as well as the San Diego Coastal Collegiate League. And it's a nice field, as we mentioned. Formerly, it was the home to Team San Diego. And if you recall yesterday, we talked about Team San Diego a little bit and mentioned that Tim Halbig was always the man in charge there. Decided to go a different route this season and founded the SDCCL. And so instead of having just one team, he decided, well, why don't I have a bunch of teams? And created his own league and had a few teams, obviously, that he created for the league. And then also had a few other programs joining, such as the San Diego Invaders and the Solana Beach Cardinals. So this is a good league, and obviously, as we mentioned, set to see our second opponent from the SDCCL. Dave Soberai on the play-by-play. So glad you've joined us, as we mentioned, from wherever you may be. Here's what the standings kind of look like at the moment in this 4th of July tournament. There's 4 teams at the moment that are 2-0, and so that's the Bucs. But at the moment, the Bucs are seated in the 3rd spot. And so at the moment, the 4 teams that are 2-0, are the San Diego Invaders, California Kings, the Bucs, and the Nevada Jays, who actually had an upset victory over the San Diego Force on day 1. Speaking of the Force, since 5 teams will make the playoffs tomorrow, the Force actually stand in the number 5 spot in the lineup, as they are 1-1, but the run differential is +10 for the San Diego Force. So a good chance if they do a lot of damage, inflict a lot of damage on the team they play here today, they will do, the same thing and make it into the playoffs. The San Diego Force actually had a 1 o'clock game against the California Jays, who were rated as one of the weakest teams in the tournament. So certainly you would think that the Force would have taken care of business there. Meanwhile, for the Bucs, as we mentioned, at 2-0, really the only thing you got to do is win, and you're into that tournament. If you were to lose, there would be tiebreak scenarios, and I don't think they would really favor the Bucs, only because the Bucs have only won by a combined 3 runs. So obviously there's been some blowouts in the tournament, and so probably if the Bucs were to lose, they would be out of this tournament. Although we're not actually sure if it's going to be run differential that ultimately determines, or the runs allowed. And the original rules, the runs allowed was supposed to be the tiebreaker, but the way the standings are set, it's by run differential. So maybe that's something to keep an eye on, something that the Bucs don't want to keep an eye on, as they would just like to take care of business, as we mentioned, and get the victory here today at Grossmont College. The Bucs, as you can see, have come out as the home team for the second day here at Grossmont College. Matt Goitia on the mound. Goitia taking his warm-up pitches, throwing, of course, to the catcher, Dylan Lowenstein. So Matt Goitia at a Mount Sac, the sophomore to be, getting ready here for baseball at Grossmont College, home of the Griffins. Meanwhile, the starting lineups are being announced by the PA announcer here at Grossmont College. And so we will step away for a few moments and come right back as soon as we start here for the first pitch. And welcome back. Here's what the starting lineup looks like for the Jackrabbits. Cabot Van Til is batting first. Michael Diffley batting second. Nate Gardner, Romello Carbuccia, Daniel Eicher, Caleb Rosipal, Kobe Fleck, J.C. Montemayor, Kanoe Zudamar, and Nate Roberson round out the lineup for the Jackrabbits as we are underway here. The Inland Valley Bucs doing battle with the Mission Trails Jackrabbits. Pitches off the plate outside for a ball. Here's what the defense looks like surrounding Matt Goitia. Left to right across the outfield, Scott Hernandez and Benson. As the pitch misses, low and away again for another ball. Left to right across the infield, Vargas, Alvarez, Borson, and Hernandez. Catcher is Dylan Lowenstein as the pitch is fouled back to the screen. And so as we mentioned in the open, Matt Goitia had a Mount Sac, a sophomore to be there, was really the ace of the staff, under a 2 ERA, 1.97 to be exact. Although this summer so far, swing and a miss, strike three. That is the first out here for Matt Goitia in the top of the first inning. For this summer's season, Goitia, he hasn't pitched that many innings, only 8 2/3 innings tossed, but a 5.19 ERA. But in those 8 2/3 innings, he has 7 strikeouts. And now, obviously, with that first out, 9 innings to 8 strikeouts. So that's a good ratio of swing and a miss for strike one. And the count is 0-1 to Michael Diffley, the shortstop. So it's Diffley followed by Gardner. Due up here for the Jackrabbits. Pitch called a strike on the outside corner. And it's 0-2. So Matt Goitia head here. Has a purpose pitch to offer. Let's see what he goes with. The 2-2, or the 0-2, foul back, and it remains 0-2. So no balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, top of the first inning. Just underway here at Grossmont College. Dave Soberai, as always, on the play-by-play, saying thank you so much for joining us. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. 2 up, 2 down. Both strikeout victims of Matt Goitia. And up comes the left fielder, Nate Gardner. Number of players on this team from Centralia Community College, and he is one of those members. First pitch inside, ball 1, 1-0 the count to Gardner. Gardner at the plate. Carbuccia is on deck. Line drive. Oh, it's caught by the first baseman, Nick Hernandez. A leaping grab, robbing a base hit of Gardner. And so the side is retired here in the top of the first inning, in order by Matt Goitia. Score remains 0-0. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Hey, where's the drum? Ooh, girl, you're shining like a Fifth Avenue diamond, and they don't make you like they used to. You're never going out of style. Ooh, pretty baby. so classic. Baby, you're so classic. Oh, a dozen roses, anything for you to notice. All the way to serenade you, doing it's not style. I'ma pick you up in a Cadillac like a gentleman, bring it glamour back, keep it real to real in the way I feel. I could walk you down the aisle. I wanna throw you like Michael. I wanna kiss you like Prince. Let's get it on like Marvin Gaye, like Hathaway. Write a song for you like this. You're over my head, I'm out of my mind, thinking I was wrong in the wrong.
And welcome back as we head to the home half of the first inning. Noah Merson from Grossmont College is on the mound to start here for the Jackrabbits. Here's what the starting lineup looks like from Kevin Bowler, the center fielder. Hernandez leading off, followed by Kyle Jackson and Anthony Virgin. Nick Hernandez will be the cleanup hitter. Then it'll be Andrew Alvarez, the shortstop, batting fifth, followed by Sheldon Borson, the second baseman, in the sixth hole. First pitch, strike one. 0-1 the count. Dylan Lowenstein, Brandon Benson, Garrick Vargas, and Jake Scott round out the lineup for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. Here's what the defense looks like behind Merson, the left-handed pitcher. Showing a bunt and letting it go was Hernandez for ball one. 1-1 the count to number 1-1 on the Bucs. Left to right across the outfield, Gardner, Van Til, and Rosipel. Left to right across the infield, it's Carbuccia, Diffley, Zuttermeister, and Eicher. Catcher is Fleck. Line drive down the third base line. Hernandez starting it off right for the Bucs, rounding first and headed into second with a head-first sliding double. And just like that, Bucs get a leadoff double from Hernandez, and they're in business here in the bottom of the first inning. Up comes Kyle Jackson. Jackson, the EH in this game, batting at a .356 clip, 12 RBIs and 12 runs scored on the season for Inland Valley. Jackson 6'1", 205 out of Georgetown College, hometown Claremont, and went to Claremont High School. Jackson, as you've seen for much of the season, wearing that left ankle supporter. Here's the pitch. Called a strike on the outside corner, and it's 0-1 to the two-time SCCBL All-Star. Kyle Jackson making it in 2015 as well as 2013. And we had mentioned that in 2014 he was a snub. This guy should be an all-star every season. Ground ball left side, two-hopper over to the third baseman. And a good job done there, as Hernandez is going to have to stay put at second. And so Jackson is retired for the first out here in the bottom of the first inning. Up comes Anthony Virgin, the designated hitter. Anthony Virgin on the season, batting .484. So an eye-popping number there, 10 RBIs and 9 runs. And yesterday, adding to those tallies, all of them really, yesterday going 3 for 3, 2 RBIs and 2 runs in that game against the La Jolla Sharks. First pitch to Virgin, swinging, and he fouls it off behind the plate for strike one. 0-1 the count to Anthony Virgin. Virgin, 6'0", 210-pound right-handed hitter out of Midland University, out in Nebraska, the Midwest. I don't think Virgin liked the weather that much, so he's actually looking for a new school for his senior season. And that's something that's really not unfamiliar for Anthony Virgin, who has gone to 4 schools the last 4 years. And we're talking about 4 different schools dating back to high school. And, of course, attending Don Lugo High School. And then going to Orange Coast College, Citrus College, and then Midland. And then, like we said, now looking for another school, his 5th in 5 years. So you could say he's a nomad, as this one fouled back. And actually it flex off those large poles we were talking about and ricocheted back towards the third baseman. But like we said, although he may be a nomad in his school choices, he is not when it comes to the summer. He's at home with Inland Valley Baseball. And he has been a member of the Inland Valley Baseball Association for 3 seasons. In fact, was an all-star in 2014. Only played a few games last year in 2015, but has been a regular here in 2016. 2-strike pitch, foul back again. And Anthony Virgin fighting off a number of pitches and protecting the plate and he will stay alive for at least one more. And as the on-deck hitter, Nick Hernandez, crosses in front of your screen and picks up that foul baseball. Meanwhile, let's see what Virgin does here. Another two-strike pitch to come from Merson. Merson checks the runner, fires home. It's a bouncer in the dirt for a ball. So the Inland Valley Buccaneers, 2-0, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast in this tournament. Two close games. First one being a 5-3 ball game over the Arizona Wildfire, and then yesterday a 5-4 victory over the La Jolla Sharks. 2-2 outside, ball 3, full count. So the first payoff pitch to come here from Merson to Anthony Virgin. Virgin, who fell behind 1-2, fouling off a number of pitches and looking for that, the pitch that he wants to drive. Meanwhile, a plane flying overhead, as we mentioned yesterday. A lot of planes kind of landing, taking off from this area. So must be close to either a smaller airport. I don't think we're close enough to the San Diego airport, though. Full count pitch. Hernandez leaves. It's actually a ball in the dirt. So ball 4. Hernandez with the stolen bag. Big play there for the Buccaneers to get the go-ahead run in third base, just 90 feet away. And here comes Nick Hernandez. Hernandez is a guy you like to see up in this type of situation with 2 runners on and 1 out and the bottom of the first inning. In fact, this was actually the first situation he had on the season, and that was in a conference game against the Bombers. And what did he do? Well, he bombed one over the right field fence. Bucs hoping that happens again here. First pitch, though, strike 1 at the knees, and it's 0-1 to the Cal Poly Pomona sophomore to be. For attending Cal Poly, went to Charter Oak High School. Here's the pitch. Ground ball right side through the infield for a base hit. It is 1-0 Buccaneers on an RBI single by Nick Hernandez. Coming home is Hernandez, the other Hernandez, Jordan. And like we said, 1-0 Bucs lead. And this is the thing that, as you know, has plagued the Bucs recently, is they could just never find a way to take a lead, and they're out to an early 1-0 lead here, as we mentioned, in the bottom of the first inning. Up comes Andrew Alvarez. Alvarez actually got the pitching victory yesterday, going 2 2/3. And here he is batting in the number 5 spot today. Takes fastball high and away for ball 1. 1-0 the count to the Houston Baptist Husky. Of course, leading the Houston Baptist Huskies to the Southland Conference Tournament as a junior last year, and then to the NCAA Tournament. Here's the 1-0. Breaking pitch in the dirt, ball 2. 2-0 the count to Alvarez. Alvarez batting .351 on the season. 5 runs scored and 3 RBIs. Bucs going to the black undershirts today. They were in the red yesterday, so a little bit of a different wrinkle from the Bucs in this game. Obviously, still the same cutoff white jerseys. Line drive, deep left field, going back to the track and making the grab is the left fielder for the second out. It was hit so deep that Anthony Virgin's going to tag up. Meanwhile, Nick Hernandez tried tagging up too and got tagged out as he looked like he was coming up lame, and I guess he's okay, but I think the reason he did that was just because he realized he was going to be thrown out at second. And so Virgin actually tagged up, but Hernandez caught out, and the inning has ended after Alvarez flies out to left field. A little bit of a weird end to the inning, but the Bucs do get one on the RBI single by Nick Hernandez. And at the end of one, the score is 1-0. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Lately, I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. But baby, I've been praying hard. Said no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Yeah, we'll be counting stars. Swing my heart across the line. In my face is flashing signs. Seek it out and ye shall find.
Welcome back as we head to the top of the second inning. And We're going to start play with music here. Swing and a miss. Strike one. How about that? Matt Goitia, all business. He says, I don't need to wait for the music to go off. As we had a swing and a miss here from the cleanup hitter, Romello Carbuccia. Third baseman takes strike two, and it's 0-2. Actually, that in-between innings really was very quick. Off-speed pitch just missing for ball one. 1-2 the count. I guess both teams thinking they know that there's that 2 hour and 20-minute time limit of when you can't start an inning before, and both teams thinking we want to make sure we get 9 in. So like we said, a very, very quick kind of in-between innings right there. Meanwhile, that last pitch was fouled off, as we mentioned, those large poles that you can see, of course, on your stream, a couple of them kind of, well, unfortunately, obstructing a little bit of your view out in left center and right center field. The 1-2, upstairs, ball two, fastball way out of the zone to Carbuccia. Eicher is on deck, Carbuccia at the plate. Rosie Powell in the hole here for the men in red. 2-2. Grounded to the left side at the third baseman. Fires across the diamond and makes the play for the out here. That, of course, was Vargas for the first out in the top of the second inning. So far, so good for Mr. Goitia. 4 up and 4 down. And out of the 4, 2 of them have been strikeouts. As Daniel Eicher comes up to the plate from Wilkes University. Leg kick and the pitch. First pitch, a nice breaking pitch in there for strike one. 0-1 the count. Once again, Goitia working very quickly. And the pitch misses low for ball one. 1-1 the count. Well, the Jackrabbits have been playing well in the San Diego Coastal Collegiate League as this pitch is fouled off behind the plate. And we know that the record demonstrated that. But here in this tournament, 0-2. 1-2 pitch, lined into right field. Coming in and making the grab is Brandon Benson. Benson was set up really to perfection as the ball just lined right at him, and he made the pretty easy one-handed grab for the second out. Up comes Caleb Rosipal out of Laredo Community College. The right fielder digs in. Matt Goitia delivers. Pitch misses low for ball one. 1-0 the count. Well, we know that Goitia gets the start here. And we also know we expect to see, as this is a fly ball to straightaway center field, Hernandez maybe backing up a couple of steps, but pretty much didn't even have to move. And that'll do it here. The side is retired in order for the second straight inning. At the end of 1.5, it remains 1-0. Bucs on top. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Baby, you a song. You make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise. I got my windows down in the radio. Get your radio on. What up, Nelly? All right. I got my windows down in the radio. Get your radio on. Yeah, when I first saw that bikini top on her, she's popping right out of the South Georgia water. Don't know, good Lord, she had them long tail legs, couldn't help myself, so I walked up and said, baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise. Down the back road, throwing stop signs through the middle of every little farm town. With you in this brand new Chevy with a lift kit, I look a hell of a lot better with you up in it. Baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise. I got my windows down in the radio. Get your radio on. And she was sipping on Southern and singing Marshall Tucker. We were falling in love in the sweetheart of summer. She hopped right up into the cab of my truck and said, fire it up, let's go get this thing stuck. Baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows.
Welcome back as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Sheldon Borson, Dylan Lowenstein, and Brandon Benson due up for Inland Valley. And the Bucs taking a 1-0 lead on the RBI single by Nick Hernandez through the 3-4 hole back in the first inning. First pitch called a strike on the outside corner to Borson. And it's 0-1 to the second baseman out of Cal Baptist, where he'll be a sophomore next season. 5'10", 195. Takes low for ball one. 1-1 the count to Sheldon Borson. Hometown Palm Desert. Went to Xavier Prep High School, where he was an all-league performer and two-time captain. Takes low and away for ball two. 2-1 the count to Sheldon Borson. Borson on the season hitting .236, 12 runs scored, and 8 RBIs. Late kicking the pitch. Breaking pitch missing low for ball three, and it's now 3-1. So Borson, a hitter's pitch to come. Let's see if he can sit dead red on a fastball and look to drive something, maybe to the gap out there in right center field. Speaking of the outfield, here's what the distance looks like in the outfield. Meanwhile, 5-pitch walk drawn by Borson. So that'll be a leadoff walk here for the Buccaneers, as Dylan Lowenstein will enter the batter's box for the first time. Out there in left field, it's 312 down the line, 380 to left center, 400 to dead center, where if you remember yesterday, Gomez drove one to dead center, and an amazing play was made by the center fielder for the Sharks. Right center is 373 and 334 down the right field line. Fastball away, ball one. And it's 1-0 to Dylan Lowenstein, second-year member of the Inland Valley Baseball Association. Was a Pirate back in 2014, and now here he is a Buck in 2016. This pitch is fouled into the mitt, and it's 1-1 to the 6'1", 205-pound right-handed hitter out of Bluefield College in Virginia. Lowenstein, another guy like Anthony Virgin, who actually will be a senior next season, but is looking to find a home. And so here's the pitch. Lowenstein actually squaring around a bunt and fouls it down the first base line. So Lowenstein maybe trying to sacrifice with a runner on and no outs here in the bottom of the second inning, but couldn't lay it down. And as you know, that's something that's really plagued the Buccaneers all season long. But actually, Brad Lewis got the job done yesterday. It was perfectly executed sacrifice. 1-2 the count to Lowenstein. Here's the pitch. Foul back, and it remains 1-2 to Dylan. Dylan, before attending Bluefield College, went to Mount Sac as a sophomore and freshman, hometown of Chino Hills, and went to Chino Hills High School. As you know, and as we've mentioned before, also a thespian, was in a commercial for McDonald's. Here's the pitch. Protecting the plate was Lowenstein. Little kind of excuse-me hack. Pitch is probably off the plate. But the last thing you want to do, if it's something you can get your bat on, you don't want to leave it up to the umpire. And so Lowenstein didn't do that there. Lowenstein still going to have to protect the plate here, down in the count 1-2. Pitch bounces in the dirt. Borson breaking late, but it's not going to matter as it's a wild pitch. And Borson now at second base in scoring position here for the Buccaneers in the bottom of the second inning. So big situation for the Bucs to get a runner in scoring position and no outs in the bottom of the second inning, trying to add to their tally of 1-0. Lowenstein awaiting the 2-2 offering from the left-handed pitcher Merson. Here it comes, and it's a little bouncer to the right side, so it's going to move the runner over, and that'll be the first out here. So definitely, if you're Dylan Lowenstein, if you make an out, that's the out you want to make. Get the ground ball to the right side of the infield, and then you advance the runner to third base, and now give Brandon Benson the choice, or the chance, I should say, to hit a deep fly ball to the outfield and to potentially give the Bucs a 2-0 lead. Meanwhile, Merson comes set, working out of the stretch. Benson takes strike one, and the count is no ball and 1 strike to Brandon Benson. .250 batting average on the season, 4 runs scored, and a couple RBIs. As you know, has just started playing back in the field over the last 3 days, as he had a doctor tell him that little fly ball, shallow center field, it's not going to drop. Catch made, Borson bluffing. Play comes to the plate, and it was a good throw there from the center fielder Van Til. So 2 away here. Unproductive out for the Bucs, as we mentioned. with one on third base and one out. Want to try to hit a deep fly ball or maybe even a ground ball to the middle infielders. And Benson couldn't do that. But now Vargas will get the opportunity to drive in a run and give the Bucs a 2-0 lead. Vargas, out of Orange Coast College, 6'0", 200-pound third baseman. First pitch to him, strike one. 0-1 the count to Garrick. Garrick from Chino Hills, went to Chino Hills High School. Merson comes set. Borson at third. Here's the pitch. Fastball away, ball one. 1-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, bottom of 2. 1-0 Bucs leading on an RBI single by Nick Hernandez that scored Jordan Hernandez. So the two Hernandezes coming through in that first inning for the Bucs. Breaking pitch misses low and in for a ball. 2-1 the count now to Gary Vargas. Vargas on the season batting at .205, 7 runs scored and 6 RBIs. Here's the 2-1, low and away, ball 3, 3-1 the count. Time called for temporarily by the catcher Fleck, who I thought for a second was going to go out to the mound for a visit, but actually just decided to throw it back down to the pitcher and maybe just needed to take a little bit of time to pick up the baseball himself after it kind of dinged him up. 3-1 pitch, hitter's pitch, but it misses away for ball 4. So the second 5-pitch walk of the inning. First one being to Sheldon Borson, who is now at third base. Advanced to second on a wild pitch, and to third on the ground ball out off the bat of Dylan Lowenstein. And here is Jake Scott. Scott batting in the number 10 spot in the lineup, the left fielder out of Orange Coast College. Scott waiting the first offering here from Noah Merson. Misses low and away for ball 1. 1-0 the count to the 5'10", 185-pound right-handed hitter. For attending Orange Coast College, went to Edison High School. And we've mentioned this before, wants to pursue a career in sports medicine. And so many of these guys want to do that type of thing. Line drive, center field, base hit. 2-0 the score, Bucs. As Sheldon Borson scores on the RBI single by Jake Scott. So Jake Scott, a guy that we said he feels more comfortable with men on base. He's had to lead off a lot of the season. And coming from Orange Coast College, he was the number 5 hitter. And when he sees a man in scoring position, he's ready to take full advantage of it. And he did so there. And so that'll be his 6th RBI of the season as Scott takes his lead off first. So too does his teammate at Orange Coast College, Garrick Vargas, at second. And up comes Jordan Hernandez, breaking pitch in the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Both runners advance into scoring position. Big play there for the Bucs. Play that you might not necessarily see in the box score, but now it gives an opportunity for Jordan to come through with maybe 2 RBIs and give the Bucs another run here in the bottom of the second inning. Hernandez is 1 for 1 with a double and scored the first run of the game. Another wild pitch, actually a good block by the catcher. Fleck making sure that that one didn't get to the backstop. Otherwise, it could have been a 3-0 ball game. And the wheels are starting to fall off the wagon a bit here for Merson in the bottom of the second inning. A lot of wild pitches, 2 walks. As he checks the runner at second, the 2-0, low and away, ball 3. Wow. 2-1 the count. So the count now 2-1 with 2 outs here on a pitch that, as we mentioned, looked like it was not only low but also away. But Hernandez, here's the 2-1. This one's off the plate, and it's ball 3. 3-1 the count. Hernandez set to see a hitter's pitch here. 3-1 count with 2 runners in scoring position. Garrick Vargas at third. He drew a walk on the 5 pitches. And Jake Scott, the RBI single to center field, is at second. The 3-1, up and in, ball 4. Another 5-pitch walk. The third 5-pitch walk of the inning for Noah Merson. And now the 4th walk of the game. So Merson struggling to find the zone. And up comes Kyle Jackson with the bases loaded. Kyle Jackson, the all-time leader in RBIs for the Inland Valley Baseball Association. Let's see if he adds to that tally here. Jackson waiting the first pitch. Fastball away. Once again, it's called a strike, though. 0-1 the count. Meanwhile, the throw actually got past the pitcher. And Vargas maybe could have thought about running home to home plate, excuse me. But he was kind of just chuckling, as I guess he decided not to do so. And, let's just see what Kyle Jackson can do in this situation with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. 0-1 the count. Swing and a miss. And it's 0-2 to Kyle Jackson. So after walking 3 batters in the inning, this time Merson gets ahead, 0-2. Big moment for the Bucs here, just in the sense that if Jackson can come up with a big hit, they could put this game out, of commission early. The 0-2 lifted to shallow right field. Easy routine grab for the right fielder. And the inning has ended. But the Bucs do get another run here in the bottom of the second inning and take a 2-0 lead. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright. Hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. Lips as sweet as candy, its taste is on my mind. Girl, you got me thirsty for another cup of wine. Got a bug from you, girl, but I don't need no cure.
Welcome back as we head to the top of the third inning. Dave Soberai, as always, on the play-by-play. Bucs leading 2-0, 1 in the first and 1 in the second. Goitia, first pitch, swinging. Shallow fly ball out in the outfield. Sheldon Borson making it look pretty adventurous out there in shallow right field. But the catch was made as he kind of made a little bit of a leaping grab to make the play for the first out here. We actually had a switch. Sheldon Borson's actually playing third and Garrick Vargas is actually playing second. So for some reason, Vargas and Borson switching positions. Not exactly sure why, as Vargas is a third baseman and Borson's a second baseman. I wonder if Kevin Bowler knows. Strike called at the play here to J.C. Montemayor, the designated hitter, who wears number 4. Ground ball left side. That's Sheldon Borson, as we mentioned. Borson, he shows some arm strength. At second base, it's always something that you talk about. The second baseman may not have the strongest of arms, and the third baseman has to have a rocket arm. But Borson displaying it there. How funny is that? The 2 infielders switching positions, and the first 2 plays in the inning comes to both of them. Line drive, right field, base hit, first hit of the game. And so just like that, after retiring the first 8, the first base runner for the Jackrabbits, and Zettermeister appears here in the top of the third inning. Up comes Nate Roberson, the EH, so this is the number 10 hitter in the lineup. And then the Jackrabbits will go back to the top of the order. For Garcia, obviously, you want to try to get out of the inning against the number 10 batter. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. 0-1 the count. With 2 outs in the top of the third inning, the Bucs leading by a score of 2-0. After this tournament, of course, on Tuesday, the Bucs have a big conference matchup. Runner goes, pitch misses, throw down to second, got him. What a throw from Lowenstein, right on the money. And so Zuttermeister caught stealing, and the inning has ended. So still, even though Goitia gives up the single, he has faced the minimum here after 3 innings pitched. Through 2.5, the score remains 2-0. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Inland Valley Buccaneers with the heart of the order due up here. If you recall back in the 2nd inning, Bucs did get 1 run on the RBI single by Jake Scott, but unfortunately for the Bucs, they stranded the bases loaded with Kyle Jackson at the plate, and he flew out to shallow right field. But the heart of the order due up. Let's see if the Bucs have at least another run in store, as they've gotten 1 in the 1st and 1 in the 2nd. 2-0 the score. Swing and a miss. Merson pulling a string. And it's 0-1 to Anthony Virgin, who's drawn a walk. So Virgin reaching in his last 5 plate appearances here at this San Diego tournament. This one's fouled off down the first base line. If you recall, actually, the first at-bat that Virgin had fell behind in the count, fouled off a number of pitches, and then ended up drawing a full count walk. Here's the pitch to Virgin. Misses inside for a ball. Virgin having to get out of the way of it. Almost made contact with his back leg, as it was the breaking pitch that Virgin just saw at the last second and had to kind of get out of the way of. 1-2 the count to Anthony Virgin. Virgin, as we mentioned, .484 batting average entering the day, and it's now 2-2. So Virgin once again, for the 2nd straight plate appearance, falling behind, but now once again now fighting back as he is set to see a 2-2 pitch from Noah Merson. Here it comes, and it's a fastball up for ball 3, full count. Payoff pitch to come to Anthony Virgin. The Bucs, as we mentioned, trying to score maybe another run here in the 3rd inning. They've gotten 1 in the 1st and 1 in the 2nd. 2 big plays were the Nick Hernandez RBI single through the 3-4 hole and the Jake Scott RBI single up the middle. 3-2, lifted into right field. Routine play for the right fielder, Rosie Powell, who makes the two-handed grab for the first out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Just like that, Virgin retired for the first time in the last 6 plate appearances, and up comes Nick Hernandez. Hernandez 1 for 1 with the RBI single back in the 1st inning. Hernandez now 2 for 10 on the year, but with both of his hits, each time he gets a hit, he produces an RBI. 4 RBIs altogether. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch in there for strike 1. 0-1 the count. And for whatever reason, we mentioned even on that home run he hit in his first at-bat, a lot of the time this season, although he does have a couple of walks yesterday, here's the pitch. Ball, 1-1 the count. A lot of the times falling behind in the count, but obviously working his way back into this one after taking that ball, and now it's a 1-1. So sticks on the board, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of 3. Here's the pitch. Line drive, right field, second base hit of the day for Nick Hernandez. So Hernandez out to right field, and up comes Andrew Alvarez. Alvarez 0 for 1, flew out to left field, but when he hit that fly ball out into left field, off the bat I was wondering if potentially it had a chance to clear the fence, but actually it was about 10 to 15 feet shy of that. Definitely sent the left fielder far back on the dead run. Meanwhile, the wind is going from left to right. Here's the pitch. Misses the low and in for ball 1-0 the count. So maybe that had a little bit to do with it, as the ball didn't carry as far in left field, had the wind patterns been going the opposite direction. Alvarez, here's the 1-0. Yes, he did go, says the home plate umpire, and it's 1-1. Andrew looked a little bit confused by that last pitch, as not exactly sure there what he saw. Maybe he was thinking that he'd get a fastball, and he got something different. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bouncer in the dirt. Wild pitch. Hernandez to second base. Second wild pitch of the game for Merson, who, as we mentioned in the previous inning, sort of been struggling to find the zone and has walked a number of hitters as well. Hasn't really settled in and gotten in a rhythm yet, although he's only allowed 2 runs at the moment. But obviously, the Inland Valley Buccaneers looking to inflict some more damage and score some more here in the bottom of the third. 2-1, swung on and missed. Strike 2. 2-2 the count to the 6'4", 230-pound right-handed hitter out of Houston Baptist. Hometown of Riverside. Went to Martin Luther King High School before attending actually a couple of colleges. 2-2. Misses low for ball 3, full count. Actually, before attending Orange Coast College, where he went his sophomore year, went to Pepperdine, committed to Pepperdine out of high school, and decided that he wanted to do it all. He wanted to hit and pitch, so he was afforded that opportunity at both Orange Coast and Houston Baptist. Here's the full count offering. Fly ball, and a towering fly ball at that, to straightaway center field. That'll be the second out. Hernandez kind of bluffing. Center fielder hitting him right at the cutoff. And up comes Sheldon Borson. As we mentioned in the previous inning, for whatever reason, Sheldon Borson and Garrick Vargas switching positions. Borson, obviously, as you know, has been the everyday second baseman for the Bucs, and Vargas has played third the whole season, and for whatever reason, they switched in the previous inning. Pitch misses low and away. Ball 1-1 the count. And would you believe it? The first play of the inning goes to second base, and the second play of the inning goes to third. And both of them demonstrating that they could play some other positions as well. Meanwhile, Merson checking over at second, fires home. Fly ball down the right field line. Will it be playable for Rosie Powell? He keeps running and tries to make a sliding attempt but can't make the play. In comes Nick Hernandez to score, and it's an RBI stand-up double for Sheldon Borson. The score now 3-0 as the Bucs have scored at least 1 run in every single inning so far. Here comes Dylan Lowenstein to the plate. Lowenstein 0 for 1, grounded out to the second baseman. And so just like that, looked like maybe Merson would have gotten out of his first inning unscathed, but Sheldon Borson with the towering fly ball to deep right field. Right fielder, as we mentioned, Rosie Powell, traveling a long distance and almost made an unbelievable, spectacular play right by the warning track. Line drive, left center field off the bat of Lowenstein, but the left fielder Gardner is there and tracks it. Read that to perfection off the bat. And that'll do it here for the bottom of the third inning. But for the third consecutive inning, the Bucs get 1 and have a 3-0 lead as we head to the top of 4. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
sport in a race.
Welcome back as Nate Roberson will lead off here in the top of the fourth inning. If you recall, he was actually at the plate in the top of the third inning, but Zuffenmeister was caught stealing, and so that's the reason why he comes back out here in the top of four. So 10-1 and 2 due up here in the lineup. Pitch swung on and missed there. Matt Goitia, remains on the mound. Goitia has looked very, very strong, as you know. He's faced the minimum in this game. Breaking pitch, low and away for a ball. Count is 2-1 to Roberson. Actually, the first base runner of the game was Zuffenmeister, who singled, and as we mentioned, was caught stealing. Strike called on the outside corner, and it's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Top of four. Bucs leading by a score of 3-0. They've gotten one in each inning so far. Called strike 3 at the knees. And that'll be the third strikeout victim here for Matt Goitia. Back to the top of the lineup we go. And Cabot Van Til. Van Til 0 for 1. One of those 3 strikeout victims. First pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 1. 0-1 the count to Van Til. Van Til and then Diffley on deck. Should anybody reach base, Gardner awaits in the hole. Pitches off the plate outside, ball 1. 1-1 the count with 1 out in the top of the fourth inning. 1-1 high and away, ball 2. 2-1 the count. Matt Goitia finding the rhythm, as you know, here. And his rhythm has been very, very quick. 2-2 the count, swing and a miss. Because Matt Goitia, he works very, very quick, doesn't he? Of course, this is the third day. Called strike 3, the second in a row for Matt Goitia. And 2 now for Van Til in this game. And 4 altogether for Goitia as Michael Diffley comes to the plate. 0 for 1 with one of those 4 strikeouts in the game. Once again, thank you to everybody watching wherever you may be. Swing and a miss, strike 1, 0-1 the count. We'll fill you in with who's watching in today in the 5th inning, as we typically do. So keep your eye out for that. Here's the 0-1 offering. Oh, nice breaking pitch, strike 2. Nothing and 2 the count. I mean, I don't know what you can do if you're the hitter Diffley other than watch it go by and hope that potentially you get something else. The 0-2 misses up and in for ball 1. 1-2 the count to Michael Diffley. Diffley at the plate, having to protect the plate, and does so here, fouling it back to the screen, and the count remains 1-2 with 2 outs in the top of the fourth inning. Bucs leading by a score of 3-0. Bucs, couple wins already this weekend, looking for some more. They're going to ask if he went, and the answer is no, so it'll be ball 2. The question was, did it actually catch the inside corner? But obviously the home plate umpire saying that it was a ball inside, and definitely he did not go. 2-2, fastball misses up for ball 3, full count. So actually, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a 0-2 count for Goitia, and then 3 balls in a row here, although obviously nobody on base. Called strike 3. 3 strikeouts looking in the top of the fourth inning. We're through 3.5. The score remains 3-0 Bucs. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
I used to rule the world, seas that rise
Welcome back. Brandon Benson, the number 8 hitter in the lineup, due up, followed by Garrick Vargas and Jake Scott. And the bottom of the 4th inning, the Inland Valley Buccaneers with 1 run in each of the first 3. First pitch strike called to Benson. First run being scored on an RBI single by Nick Hernandez. The second run being scored on an RBI single by Jake Scott. And the third on an RBI double by Sheldon Borson to deep right field. Second pitch misses for ball 1. 1-1 the count to the right fielder Benson. 0 for 1. Flew out to center field. And so Benson coming into the day, 250. Here's the pitch. Fly ball once again to center field, this time to shallow center. And Van Til has the easy grab for the first out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1 up and 1 down for Noah Merson. Up comes Garrick Vargas. Vargas, the third baseman who, as we mentioned, shifted to second in this game as he and Borson decided to, well, why don't we switch some positions in this game? We might as well, playing the whole summer at the same position. It's time that we maybe get something else out there. And so up comes Vargas, as we mentioned. Second plate appearance, takes strike 1 at the knees, 0-1 the count to Vargas. In his first plate appearance, drew a walk and really allowed the inning to continue and to give Jake Scott the opportunity for that RBI single. Fly ball down the first base line in foul territory. The first baseman, Eicher, racing after it, but can't get there in time as the ball falls to the ground harmlessly for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. Garrett Vargas working over his batting gloves, getting them resituated to his liking. He's behind here, 0-2 against the starting pitcher, Noah Merson, out of Grossmont. Here's the pitch, high and away, ball 1. 1-2 the count to Garrick Vargas. Vargas, 7 runs scored and 6 RBIs on the season. Takes breaking pitch low for ball 2. 2-2 the count. Vargas, one of a couple Orange Coast College players, as you know, another one awaiting on deck, and Jake Scott. And as we mentioned, a lot of guys kind of from that Orange Coast pipeline, including Virgin and Alvarez, who attended that school at one point. 3-2 the count. Vargas from 0-2 now to a full count as he checks overhead. We just heard a plane fly pretty much directly over the field here at Grossmont College. So Vargas buying himself some time, calling for time, and now digs right back in for the full count offering. It's upstairs, ball 4. Second walk of the day for Garrick Vargas. And up comes Jake Scott. Scott's 1 for 1 with an RBI single to center field. And Jake Scott, a guy who, as you know, for much of the season has struggled, but certainly a guy that Kevin Bowler thinks a lot of and keeps looking, to kind of break out of that slump. And so maybe that RBI single in the second inning will do just that. Scott squaring around and letting it go. Pitch misses. 1-0 the count to number 1-0 on the Inland Valley Buccaneers, Jake Scott. Scott, before the game, just hitting 194, but obviously his average has gone up with that first base hit. Here's the pitch. Squaring around and trying to bunt for a hit. Will he get the job done? The answer is yes. Did they call him out there or it's safe? I didn't see it. As we mentioned, there is that big pull. It looks like they called him safe, and so that's what I thought the call was going to be. It's a bunt base hit for Jake Scott, and that is something that we mentioned Scott really thinks, and we mentioned that in the previous at-bat as well. Scott hitting in the number 5 spot at Orange Coast College, thinks he's, an RBI type of guy, and he may very well have been at Orange Coast College, but he's also very speedy, which a lot of 5-hitters don't have, and that's something that Bowler's worked with him this season, the bunt base hit. First pitch low and away, ball 1. The catcher, Fleck, keeps it in front of him, so Vargas was not able to advance 90 feet and figure out a way to get over to third base. And the Bucs We're looking for a big inning here in the bottom of the fourth inning with 2 on and 1 out and back to the top of the lineup. And Jordan Hernandez, who has reached both times here today. 1-0. Hernandez now trying to bunt. And you'd think that Hernandez may be trying to bunt for a base hit as well, just because with 1 out, you don't typically try to sacrifice. But, I mean, you do have Jackson on deck. Although, as you know, Jackson actually left the bases loaded in his previous at-bat. Meanwhile, Hernandez set to see a 1-1 pitch with 1 out in the bottom of the fourth inning. Bucs leading by a score of 3-0. Here's the pitch. Up and in, ball 2. 2-1 the count to Jordan Hernandez. 5'11", 185-pound left-handed hitter out of Chaffey College, where he'll be a sophomore next season. Hometown of Chino Hills, and went to Ayala High School. Did Hernandez. Hernandez batting .273 with 13 runs scored. Actually make that 14 now after scoring a run in the first inning. Also has 4 RBIs. Of course, the batting average has gone up as well from that .273 clip after getting a double in the first inning. Hernandez awaiting the offering, and here it comes, low and away. Ball 3, 3-1 the count to Jordan Hernandez. Hernandez set to see a hitter's pitch with 2 runners on and 1 out. Bucs have scored 1 run in every single inning so far, and they're looking to equal that here in the bottom of the fourth. 3-1, swing and a miss, strike 2, full count. Hernandez, for a leadoff hitter, he takes some big hacks at the plate, and that was not an exception right there. As you know, a lot of the time the leadoff hitter is, well, he's got to find a way on base any way possible. And a lot of times they'll shorten up the swing and just try to make contact. Full count offering, misses low for ball 4. The bases are loaded. Vargas to third, Scott to second, and Hernandez now at first. Second walk of the inning. 2 runners on the corners. Hernandez and Vargas drew walks in the inning. And Jake Scott with the bunt base hit. He is at second. And Kyle Jackson now with the same situation he faced in his last at-bat. Bases loaded, although this time there's 1 out as opposed to 2. First pitch to Jackson. Fouled down the right field line, and it's 0-1 to Kyle. Kyle is 0 for 2. Grounded out to the third baseman in the first inning and flew out to the right fielder in the second inning. Jackson on the season with 12 RBIs and 12 runs scored. Those 12 RBIs are among the top on the team. Jackson, as we mentioned, looking to add to that tally right here. Here's the 0-1. Little flare out to second base, and it's going to be a double play. Scott was off with the pitch. And that'll do it here for the bottom of the fourth inning. Base running error by not Jordan Hernandez, Jake Scott. And actually the first inning that the Bucs are kept off the board. It remains 3-0 at the end of 4. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Broke up the first time, saying this is it, I've had enough. Cause like we hadn't seen each other in a month. When you said you needed space, what? Then you come around again and say, baby, I miss you and I swear I'm gonna change. Trust me, remember how that lasted for a day? I say I hate you, we break up, you call me, I love you.
Welcome back as we head to the top of the fifth inning. So let's see who is watching here on InlandValleyBaseball.com for the second straight day. We are an international broadcast as Germany once again stopping by. We know whoever that viewer is, he is an Inland Valley lifer. He has been on a lot of broadcasts. First pitch, misses for ball one. 1-0 the count to the left fielder, Nate Gardner. Heart of the order due up here for the Jackrabbits. 2-0 the count. So quickly falling behind is Matt Goitia. Also, of course, the typical suspects out there in California watching. Strike one, 2-1 the count. We also have the state of Virginia, Ashburn, Virginia watching in, Redmond, Washington, Foley, Alabama. Pitch misses inside. Ball 3-1 the count. I think that may be the first time we've seen Alabama check in this season. Also have a couple watching out in Nevada, as well as New York and Texas. 3-1 grounded to the first baseman Hernandez. He bobbles for a second and throws to first, and they got him. Goitia, quick as a cat, running down that first base line and makes the play. The ball was hit pretty hard at Hernandez, who really didn't kind of panic at all, even though he bobbled it. Just kind of picked it up and flipped it right to Goitia for the first out. And up comes Romela Carbuccia. Carbuccia 0 for 1, grounded out to the third baseman. First pitch, strike one. 0-1 the count to Carbuccia. Still, as you know, Goitia, oh, what a breaking pitch. 0-2 the count. I mean, that ball basically started on the left side of the plate and worked its way all the way to the right. Went right back to it. Oh, maybe just missing low for a ball. And it's 1-2. Goitia has faced the minimum in this game. Just one hit allowed. Here's the pitch. Strike three. See you later. And that's the second out here. And just like that, 2 outs. As Goitia, man, he is rolling, isn't he? Up comes Daniel Eicher. Eicher is 0 for 1. Lined out to the right fielder back in the second inning. And the strikeouts are piling up here for Matt Goitia. Goitia now with 6 strikeout victims in the game. Here's the pitch. Called a strike at the knees. Actually, before the game, Goitia had 7 strikeouts. So he's looking to equal his season tally in just one outing. Of course, as you know, nice breaking pitch. Strike 2, 1-2 the count. As you know, and as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, only appearing in 8 2/3 innings before today. Here's the pitch. Called strike 3, and he knew it. He just walked back to the dugout. I mean, there's nothing you can do as a hitter. I mean, what is he going to do other than kind of chuck that bat in disgust? And that'll do it for the top of the 5th inning. We're through half of this baseball game. And, I mean, Goitia has been so efficient. I mean, I wonder how many pitches he's even thrown at this point. But I know that Kevin Bowler has some pitchers that need to get some reps, basically, and need to get some innings. And I know, like, you can't keep Goitia in the whole game by any means, but still, I mean, I think this guy could go at least another couple innings. But like we said, there are a couple other pitchers who definitely need to get a couple innings. So we'll see what happens in the 6th inning. But for the moment, Goitia in 5 innings has faced the minimum and has only allowed 1 hit. Score remains 3-0. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Michael Mora entering in Anthony Virgin's spot in the lineup. So Mora getting his first at-bat here for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. You can close the book on Anthony. Virgin finishes the day 0 for 1 with a walk. So let's see if a bunch of guys start coming in here in the bottom of the fifth for Kevin Moeller. First pitch to Michael Mora, breaking pitch, strike one. 0-1 the count to the Cal Baptist sophomore to be, 6'1", 180, hometown of Walnut, and went to Walnut High School where he's a two-time All-League performer. Here's the 0-1. Line drive, center field, base hit. Michael Mora gets a leadoff single here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And we mentioned it at the beginning of the season. He was one of the guys that you could count on to get hits and was actually in the cleanup role for a lot of the season, but slumped a little bit for the middle part of the season and really has started to refine his swing. Meanwhile, Aaron McCann to the plate. McCann getting his first at-bat here. McCann replacing Nick Hernandez. First pitch fouled down the third base line and out of play for strike one. Todd Yost set to come in for Andrew Alvarez here in the bottom of the fifth as well. So as we mentioned, a lot of changes for the Buccaneers in the bottom of the fifth inning, as a lot of guys have gotten two at-bats already, and Kevin Moeller is deciding, well, the starting lineup got two at-bats, so let's go to our switches here. This one's fouled off the edge of the bat for strike two. 0-2 the count. Nick Hernandez ends the day 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. So Nick Hernandez, a very productive day in that cleanup spot that McCann obviously taking over now. McCann behind 0-2. Breaking pitch grounded through the right side of the infield for a base hit. And two base hits in a row. How about that? As a coach, you go to the bench twice, and both hitters come through with base hits. And the bottom of the fifth inning. Can Todd Yost keep the trend continuing? Yost enters for Alvarez, who flew out a couple of times. So here is Todd Yost, the 6'1", 195-pound shortstop from Mount Sac, where he'll be a sophomore next season, hometown of Fullerton, and went to El Dorado High School. Yost, as we mentioned, trying to keep it rolling here for the Bucs. Bucs ahead 3-0. First pitch, bouncer in the dirt, ball one. And more importantly, it's a wild pitch, and and both runners advancing 90 feet, one to second and one to third. The one at third would be Michael Moore, and the one at second, McCann. McCann actually, look at that uniform McCann's rocking today. A lot of buttons unbuttoned. Meanwhile, at the plate, ahead in the count is Todd Yost, swinging at the 1-0. Foul back. 1-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs here in the bottom of the fifth inning of a game that you feel like really the Bucs at any point can really inflict a lot of damage and really break this one open. Already had 3-0 and looking for at least 2 here with no outs and 2 runners in scoring position. The 1-1 misses low for ball 2, 2-1 the count. I mean, really actually in this situation, with 2 runners in scoring position and no outs, I mean, in theory, the Bucs can not even get a hit and score both of them if you make a couple productive outs with sac flies and or maybe ground balls to the right side of the infield. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Todd Yost, as we mentioned, at the dish here. Substitute for Andrew Alvarez. Yost hitting .231 on the season with 5 runs scored and 3 runs batted in. So looking for 2 more, maybe with 1 swing of the bat here. Merson comes set. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch in the dirt for a ball. Yost telling the runner at third to stay put. That is Mora. As the catcher, Fleck, did his job to stop it and make sure that it didn't get past him. Meanwhile, Yost set to see a full count offering from Noah Merson. Merson has worked the entire game here for the Jackrabbits. Full count offering, fly ball, shallow right center field. Second baseman going back, and he's not going to be able to make the grab. throw to the plate. They're going to have to make the tag. Actually staying up on his feet was Mora. And so it's going to get down for a bloop base hit and an RBI for Todd Yost. The score now 4-0. McCann the third, and Yost all the way to second base. We'll give him the RBI single and advance to second on the throw from center field. So for Yost, obviously, he'll take that base hit there. And obviously in the stat lines, it'll look like a RBI line drive out there to center field or right center field. Meanwhile, Sheldon Borson digs in for the third time. Borson has reached both previous plate appearances and scored a run in the second inning after drawing a walk on 5 pitches. Also had an RBI double to deep right field in the third inning. Meanwhile, time called for a second by the umpire. I think he lost track of how many outs there were, and there are still no outs in the inning. Bottom of the fifth, 2 runners in scoring position for Sheldon Borson, who's looking for another run batted in. Already has 1 on the day. First pitch, on away. Ball 1, 1-0 the count. So 1 ball and no strikes to Sheldon Borson out of Cal Baptist. His teammate Michael Mora giving the nickname of Beans, or telling us and filling us in that his nickname was Beans at Cal Baptist. Fastball paints the black on the outside corner, strike called. Of course, didn't want to call him that too often just because he didn't know how much he liked it. And he said, well, it is what it is. Everybody knows me as that now, so I kind of just live with it. Here's the pitch. Bounces in the dirt, actually nowhere near the zone, also off the plate outside. 2-1 the count. As a catcher, Fleck really doing a good job, actually, as the backstop behind home plate, blocking a number of balls. I mean, if you didn't have a backstop like that, there could be more runs scored in this game by the Bucs already. 2-1s off the plate, ball 3. 3-1 the count to Sheldon Borson. Borson's already drawn 1 5-pitch walk. Will he draw another one here? Borson's kind of been the master of the 5-pitch walk, if I think about it this season. A lot of 5-pitch walks for him. 3-1, right down the middle, lined up the middle. Backhanded grab made by the second baseman, but a run comes home to score. That's McCann, and the Bucs get their second in the inning on an RBI groundout by Sheldon Borson. So the second RBI of the game for Borson, and the Bucs now lead by a score of 5-0. Up comes Dylan Lowenstein. Lowenstein 0 for 2, grounded out and also lined out to the left fielder. Actually cracked that one left center, and the left fielder had him played to perfection. Made a nice play. First pitch to Lowenstein, misses low for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Dylan. Dylan entering the day 295 batting average, 11 runs scored, and 6 runs batted in for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. Merson comes set. Here's the pitch from the lefty. Strike called on the inside corner. And it's 1-1. So we saw the first 3 batters in the inning as pinch hitters, substitutes for Kevin Bowler. All 3 of them with base hits. Ground ball foul down the third base line by Lowenstein. So how do you like that? Michael Mora, Aaron McCann, and Todd Yost, each with base hits, entering here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 2 of them have already scored, Mora and McCann. Meanwhile, Yost is at third, just 90 feet away from scoring here with Lowenstein at the plate. Lowenstein, deep fly ball to center field, and that'll get the job done as a sacrifice fly. Center fielder not even going to try to throw, as the score is now 6-0 Bucs. Yost comes in to score. Up comes Brandon Benson. Benson 0 for 2, a couple fly ball outs to center field. Well, we were talking about it. It just felt like this game kind of had this was about to happen. No offense, but, I mean, the Bucs were threatening every single inning, and here they kind of break it open in the bottom of the 5th with 3 runs. Slow off-speed pitch hanging high for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Brandon Benson, one of the Pink Bat Rockers. As you know, Pink Bat is out in full force with the Bucs, and Benson likes swinging it. The 1-0, lifted in the infield. Second baseman, not sure if he can see it or not. Yes, he does. And the catch will be made by Zettermeister for the final out here. In the bottom of the fifth inning, the Bucs get 3 runs and take a 6-3 lead. Or 6-0 lead, excuse me. 6-0 lead as we head to the top of 6. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Myself a one-way flight. I gotta see the color in your eyes. You're telling myself I'm gonna be alright. Without you, baby, is a waste of time. Yeah, our first date, girl, the seasons changed. The God washed away in the summer rain. You can't undo a fall like this, 'cause love don't know what distance is. Yeah, I know it's crazy. It doesn't make sense to anybody else who cares if you're all I think about. I've searched the world and I know now it ain't right if you ain't lost your mind. Yeah, I don't want easy, I want crazy. Are you with me, baby? Let's be crazy. To be right, the world makes all kinds of rules for love. I see you gotta let it do what it does. I don't want just another hug and a kiss goodnight, catching up calls on a date sometimes.
Welcome back as Kenny Boardman comes in relief of Matt Goitia. Goitia, as you know, couldn't have done much better, only allowing 1 hit in 5 innings and actually pitched to the minimum, as the hitter, Zettermeister, who got that 1 hit, was then caught stealing. So not much more you can do as a pitcher in those first 5 innings of work. Also had 7 strikeouts as well. First pitch called a strike, 0-1 the count to Caleb Rosipal, the right fielder, who's 0 for 1 with a fly out to center field. Ground ball, backhanded grab made by Borson, who comes up firing for the first out. Sheldon Borson displaying that arm strength that, as we mentioned, third baseman always does. So 1 away here for Kenny Boardman. Kenny Boardman making his 4th appearance this season. 6 1/3 innings so far. And has struck out 9 in those 6 1/3 innings. Fastball misses off the plate for ball 1. 1-0 the count to the catcher, Fleck. Fleck, as you know, getting dinged up a bit here today. Has had to block a lot of balls behind the plate. Fouls this one off down the third base line. 0 for 1, flew out to the second baseman. Did Kobe Fleck, the catcher. Boardman, if you look at his ERA, strike called at the plate, 1-2 the count. If you look at Boardman's ERA, maybe not as good as you'd think based on how he's pitched the last couple of games. Fly ball, easy play out there in center field. Looks like that's Drew Seelman. And so Drew Seelman makes the play for the second out. Seelman in at center field now. Speaking of some of the changes, Todd Yost did come in at shortstop. Aaron McCann, of course, at first base. Mentioned the pitching change. Michael Mora as well is into the game. Here's the pitch. Called a strike. 0-1 the count. Jake Scott looks like he's remaining out there in left field. Yes, he is, because he's got that kind of bright sleeve on his right arm, which means that Mora has entered in right field. No, that's still Brandon Benson. Ground ball up the middle, base hit for J.C. Montemayor. So just the second base hit of the game for the Jackrabbits. Boardman, we were talking a little bit about his ERA and the 8.52 ERA. I mean, as you know, when you pitch so few innings, just 6 1/3, if you kind of give a lot up in one game, then obviously that's why your ERA would be that high. And his first outing of the season, we mentioned, thrown into the fire. Meanwhile, this is a wild pitch, and the first time of the day that the Jackrabbits get a runner into scoring position with 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning. But obviously, in your first outing, it's never easy to face the San Diego Force, and it was quite a tough first outing at that, allowing 5 runs in the 8th inning. But as we mentioned, it has done very, very well since then in his last couple outings. Fastball inside for a ball. The count is 2-0 to Zuffenmeister. Zuffenmeister 1 for 1. Singled in the 3rd inning. Has one of the 2 base hits of the game. The other one, of course, is Montemayor, who's at second. Pitch is called a strike, and it's 2-1. Late call there from the home plate umpire. As, man, we talked about the strike zone from the home plate umpire from the previous 2 games being big. This one's also seeming to get stretched out as the game goes along. Ground ball, right side. 2-hopper past Vargas and into the outfield. In comes a run, and the throw is made, but not in time. So all of a sudden, kind of out of nowhere, the Jackrabbits get a run here in the top of the 6th inning and make it 6-1. For Kenny Boardman, how I end up ruling this is really going to affect his ERA, just in the sense that, do I rule that an error or a hit? I mean, that's a play that I think the second baseman really should have had. Meanwhile, Boardman checking over at first. Here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch. Lined right at McCann, and the inning has come to an end. But after Goitia faced the minimum for 5 innings, Kenny Boardman allows 1 run here in the top of the 6th, and the new score is 6-1. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Little boy in a baseball hat stands in the field with his ball and bat. Says, I am the greatest player of them all. Puts his bat on his shoulder and he tosses up his ball. And the ball goes up and the ball comes down. Swings his bat all the way around. The world's so still you can hear the sound. The baseball falls to the ground. Now the little boy doesn't say a word, picks up his ball, he is undeterred. Says, I am the greatest there has ever been. Grits his teeth and he tries it again. And the ball goes up and the ball comes down. Swings his bat all the way around. The world's so still you can hear the sound. The baseball falls to the ground.
Welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. 6-1 the score. There's a new battery altogether here for the Jackrabbits. John Damos now on the mound from Grossmont College. So he takes over for Merson. First pitch, strike 1, 0-1 the count. Meanwhile, Edward Boslow is the new catcher. So that's what the battery looks like now for the men in red, the Mission Trails Jackrabbits. Garrick Vargas at the plate. Vargas, well, no official at bat yet. 2 walks here in this game in his previous 2 plate appearances. Here's the pitch. Line drive up the middle for a base hit. So Vargas reaches for the 3rd time in as many plate appearances. And up comes his teammate from Orange Coast College, Jake Scott. Scott 2 for 2. RBI single in the 2nd. Also had the bunt single in the fourth. So Jake Scott rapidly increasing that batting average. Drew Seelman is on deck. Drew Seelman will hit in Jordan Hernandez's spot in the lineup. Again, Jake Scott trying to bunt for a base hit, and again he gets it done for the second straight time. Jake Scott with a bunt base hit. And now 3 for 3 on the day. Well, somebody better be ready at third base the next time he comes to the plate. And here comes Drew Seelman. Speaking of guys who can bunt for base hits, this is another one. I don't know if they would try to do it again, but Drew Seelman is a guy who has a lot of speed, to say the very least. And we know we mentioned it when he came back the first time this season, but a guy who, wow, that first game he made a lasting impression back in 2015 when he stole 5 bases and scored all 4 runs in the game for the Inland Valley Pirates. Of course, Seelman jumping ship from the Pirates to the Bucs this season. Drew Seelman, a guy that you can pretty much count on getting a hit in every single game he appears in. 348 batting average for the year with 5 runs scored. Fly ball, deep center field. Center fielder Vantil on his horse going back to the track. Makes the catch. Vargas tagging up and gets to third base here. So Seelman is out for the first time today. That'll be the first out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Meanwhile, Brad Lewis to the plate for his first plate appearance. Lewis entering in Kyle Jackson's spot in the lineup. Jackson and Hernandez obviously now out of the game. Lewis to the plate. Lewis at the plate. Vargas at first with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bucs leading 6-1. First pitch foul back and behind the plate. 0-1 the count to Brad Lewis. Lewis 5'11", 195-pound right-handed hitter out of Western Nevada College, hometown of Vegas, and went to Palo Verde High School. Remember that Western Nevada team that went all the way to the West District Final in the JC playoffs. Takes inside for a ball here. Played a crazy championship game there. Runs scored, lots of runs scored. His team obviously falling. And that was actually the last game in the history of Western Nevada College, as they don't have funds anymore to play baseball. So here's the pitch. Line drive left field, another base hit, and another RBI for Lewis, who, as you know, has been piling them up this season. And the score is now 7-1. So Brad Lewis does it once again. And that's really what he does. He just cracks him to left field more often than not on those RBI base hits. And up comes Michael Mora. Mora up for the second time in 2 innings since he joined the game back in the bottom of the 5th. Led it off with a single and scored in the 5th. Once again, Mora looking for, well, to be a part of another run here with Jake Scott at second. Takes strike 1 on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. The Bucs getting a run in every single inning but the 4th. And actually in the 4th inning, you had the double play that the runner at second, Jake Scott, actually, who was at second right now, thought that it was going to be out in the outfield. It was a little flare off the bat of Kyle Jackson, and then ended up getting doubled off. Otherwise, the Bucs may have had a chance to score in that inning, too, because, as you know, Michael Mora ended up leading off the next inning with a base hit. So that certainly would have brought Scott home if Mora had come up in the 4th inning. Meanwhile, Mora fouling that last pitch back at the screen and gets right back up there in the batter's box. 1 for 1 with a run scored. Pitch misses low for a ball. 2 runners on. Lewis at first. Line drive base hit to left field. And at second is Jake Scott with a bunt base hit for the second time in this game. Scott 3 for 3 over there at second base. Here's the pitch. Oh, hits Mora in the back. And the bases are now full. So the base is loaded here for Aaron McCann. Aaron McCann, actually, this tournament has been on fire, really. And here in this game, 1 for 1 with a run scored. In yesterday's game, Aaron McCann was 1 for 2. And then a couple days ago, McCann had the big 2 RBI base hit, if you remember. First pitch swung on and lined into right field. Scott, come on down. Brad Lewis digs in, and it's a 2-run base hit for Aaron McCann. McCann has been on fire, as we mentioned, this week, and now has his second base hit here in this game and 2 more RBIs. So 4 altogether for this weekend for Aaron McCann.
Now batting, number 3, Todd Yost.
On the play, here comes Todd Yost. First pitch, line drive, deep left field, and that's going to get over the head of the left fielder. Michael Mora comes in to score. Aaron McCann digging in. Is he going to go home? Yes, he's sent home, and he will make it home. Meanwhile, Todd Yost to third as it's a 2-run triple by Todd Yost. How about that? Aaron McCann motoring all the way from first base to score. And the Bucs, well, they have got a lot of runs here in this inning, as really just 1 out still. And the inning continues. 5 runs in already. Sheldon Borson to the plate. Borson, 1 for 1, did reach on a walk and also had an RBI groundout. Pitch is called a strike on the outside corner, and it's 0-1. 11-1 is the score here in the 6th inning, so the Bucs leading by 10. Called strike 2. 0-2 the count to Sheldon Borson. Borson, as we mentioned, he's reached all 3 times here in this game. Or, excuse me, he actually hasn't. He's done something good in all 3 times. The 0-2 line foul. First plate appearance, Drew Watkins scored. Second plate appearance had the deep fly ball to right field, which drove in a run. And third at bat had the RBI ground out. So every single time he's come up to the plate, he's been a factor in at least 1 run scored. This time, trying to really continue the same thing. He does have a runner at third in the form of Todd Yost, who had the 2-run triple, scoring both Aaron McCann and Michael Mora. And McCann, as we mentioned, all the way from first base scoring on that play. Here's the pitch. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. Borson didn't like it, to say the least. And that's the second out here. Sorry, it was just kind of funny, the emotions he showed there. Like he was really frustrated, but he wanted to hold up. And he didn't want to say anything because he knows the score, but he was just so frustrated. And he thought about, going back and saying something, but then just decided better of it and walked back to the dugout. Pitch misses up and in for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Dylan Lowenstein. Lowenstein 0 for 2, but did have the sac fly RBI. Fly ball, right field, catch is made, and that'll do it here in the bottom of the 6th inning, but the damage was done. 5 runs come home to score, and the Bucs take an 11-1 lead as we head to the 7th. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the top of the 7th inning. This actually may be the last inning here, as there is a 10-run mercy rule at the end of 7. So the Bucs ahead 11-1. They are ahead by 10 runs here. Well, for the Jackrabbits, they're at the top of the lineup. So at the very least here in the top of the 7th, like we said, top of the order, and Van Til at the plate, although he's struggled today, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. And so too is the number 2 hitter in the lineup, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Kenny Boardman in for his second inning of work. Line drive, base hit to left field. And so the Jackrabbits start off well here. Took a long round about first base. Almost looked like Van Til considered potentially going to second, but thought better of it and put on the brakes and headed back to first. Here's Michael Diffley. Diffley, as we mentioned, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Actually, a couple of strikeouts looking. So if you're Diffley, definitely want to swing the bat here. And this plate appearance, taking his lead off first, is Van Til. And that's what he does, a swing and a foul down the first base line and out of play. The count is 0-1 to Michael Diffley. Diffley at bat, Gardner on deck, and the runner at first, Van Til. 11-1 the score. Bucs plating 5 runs in the 6th inning after scoring 3 in the 5th. Pitch just must have missed inside for ball. One and 1 the count to the hitter at the plate, Michael Diffley. Here's the pitch. 1-2. Just peppers it on the outside corner. Does Kenny Boardman. Boardman looking to, well, pitch his second inning here. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That'll be the first out here in the top of the 7th inning. Up comes Nate Gardner, the left fielder. 0 for 2, both outs coming to the right side of the field. In fact, both were outs coming to the first baseman. So if it was still Nick Hernandez at first, you would say that he probably would have remembered. But actually, of course, that's a new first baseman in McCann. Although, obviously, I'm sure McCann will be paying attention regardless with a left-handed hitter. First pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. 0-1 the count to Nate Gardner. So as we mentioned, this could be the last inning, as there is a 10-run mercy rule here in this tournament. Pitch is off the plate and low for a ball. 11-1 is the score. Bucs, they've scored in every single inning but the 4th, and as we mentioned, even in the 4th inning, they had an opportunity to score some runs. Strike 2 called at the plate. Gardner checked his swing, but didn't matter because it was called a strike at the plate by the home plate umpire. 1-2 the count. Boardman looking for his second strikeout victim in a row. This one's off the plate. Ball 2-2 the count. Kenny Boardman, he lets you know exactly how he feels out there. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. As last couple times, here's the pitch. Backdoor breaking pitch just missing for ball 3. 3-2 the count. Kind of jumps up in frustration when he feels like he had a pitch that maybe should have been a strike. Payoff pitch. Grounded to the first baseman, but foul. That was McCann. So, as we mentioned, that's where this hitter's gone the first 2 times. And so Aaron McCann certainly should be ready here. But also, as we mentioned, obviously with a left-handed hitter, right side of the infield, probably focusing a little bit more. Full count pitch outside, ball 4. 2 men on now for the Jackrabbits here in the top of the 7th inning with 1 out, and Romello Carbuccia to the plate. Carbuccia is 0 for 2, grounded out to the third baseman and struck out looking. Boardman to the plate, little ground ball, chopped foul down the third base line, and it's 0-1 to Romello. Romello, the cleanup hitter in this lineup for the Mission Trails Jackrabbits. Jackrabbits, as we mentioned, struggling in this tournament. Here's the pitch. Grounded through the left side of the infield. It's a base hit, and will it score a run? Yes, it will. Jake Scott can't handle it, and there's not going to be a mercy as it's now 11-2. So this game will continue as Boardman allows a run to be scored here. And for whatever reason, Jake Scott in left field couldn't really handle it. Not sure if Scott could have made the play to the plate anyways, but could have been close because Scott not necessarily playing too deep. And he was running in, but as we mentioned, it's now 11-2. Up comes Daniel Eicher. First pitch, strike called. 0-1 the count to Eicher. He's 0 for 2, lined out to right field, and struck out looking. Boardman comes set. Here's the pitch. 1-1 the count. Well, the Bucs obviously well on their way to becoming 3-0 in the tournament, and obviously at 3-0 that'll qualify you for Monday. Monday semifinals and finals will be played. Another ground ball through the infield for a base hit, and another run's going to come home to score. Vega was actually in right field, and Vega let it go past him. So actually 2 runs are going to come home to score. And out of nowhere, 2 more runs score here. And so now the Jackrabbits actually have 4 runs. I mean, obviously, just seeing Jarrett Vega in right there as the ball was hit out there. Oof, that was a tough error. Strike 1. 0-1 the count to Caleb Rosipal. Well, the Bucs, for whatever reason, here in the top of the 7th inning, kind of maybe losing focus a little bit. Obviously, ahead by 10 runs, 11-1 was the score, and really just giving up 3 runs. Here's the pitch. You're almost wondering if potentially the hitters didn't want to have a mercy because they wanted to get some more at-bats. Here's the pitch from Boardman. Grounded up the middle, and that's going to be another base hit. What is going on in this inning for the Buccaneers? 4th run scored in the inning. Still just 1 out. And it's 11-5. Kenny Boardman now, I guess he'd say, struggling here. As we said at the beginning of the inning, well, you have the top of the order due up, and it's been a good inning so far. That's going to be a throw out. Yeah, he's caught stealing. No way. Lowenstein was frustrated here. But, man, looked like he got him there. 4 already in the inning. Here's the pitch. This is Basello. Basello actually batting for Fleck. He entered in defense a few innings ago. Swing and a miss for a strike here. Well, I guess you'd say Mission Trails, they had their backs against the corner, and they responded. Bucs also kind of losing a little bit of focus there. And another base hit. And now if you're Kevin Bowler, you got to think about switching pitchers. Kenny Boardman is getting knocked around. RBI double. Time called for. 5th run in the inning. And it's now 11-6. It was 11-1 when we started this inning. And as we mentioned, there's a 10-run mercy rule. I mean, we thought that they were going to be done in 6.5 innings. And now it's almost a game. 5-run game to be exact. And really, there's another runner in scoring position to make it a 4-run game. It looks like Kevin Bowler's going to leave Boardman in here because if he was going to take him out, he would have grabbed the ball and Boardman would already be in the dugout. So Kenny Boardman is going to finish off this 7th inning no matter what. As the 8th hitter in the inning comes to the plate, J.C. Montemayor. Montemayor is 1 for 2, singled and scored in the 6th inning. What a weird, wacky top of the 7th inning. I don't know if the Bucs knew it or not, the fact that there was a mercy rule. And so maybe, I don't know what's going on out there, but, I mean, this is a team that couldn't hit the Bucs, couldn't touch them for the first 5 innings. And since Boardman's come in now, well, they've scored all 6 runs, although the first run scored in the 6th, you know, there's a play at second base that couldn't be handled. Boardman checking back at second. Another line drive base hit. And it's going to be a 4-run game now. Scott to the plate. This is ridiculous. Jake Scott making a couple of bad plays in this inning. One bobbling out in left field, now throwing one over the head, allowing another run to come home. And it's 11-7. And there's still another runner now at third. I mean, this is one of the most ridiculous innings. It's 11-8. Wild pitch. The score will say it's 11-8, and it's a ball game, but certainly the Bucs can break it right back open in the bottom of the 7th. I mean, this is pretty ridiculous, though. 7 runs come in to score here in the top of the 7th inning, and just not looking good. I mean, errors in the field. The Jackrabbits with a lot of hits, giving them credit for that, but just poorly played 7th inning. A 7th inning that 8 hitters have come up to the plate, and now 9th, and Zuffenmeister. Zuffenmeister's reached both times here in this game, the number 9 hitter in the lineup for the Jackrabbits. Kenny Boardman, meanwhile, tying his shoe behind the mound. I mean, wow. 7 runs scored in the inning, and the inning continues. Called strike 3. Second out here in the top of the 7th inning. 11-8 is the score. Here comes Nate Roberson. Well, it'll be interesting to see what Kevin Bowler does for the 8th and 9th innings to see who he goes to. I would imagine that it wouldn't be Boardman. Here's the pitch. First pitch misses for ball 1 to Nate Roberson. He's 0 for 2 in this game. 10th hitter to come to the plate. So they have batted through the lineup. 2-0 the count here in the top of the 7th inning. All 10 hitters coming to the plate for the Jackrabbits. Foul back, and it's 2-1. Mentioned really a couple errors here in this inning. I mean, Vega makes an error in right field. Scott makes the error in left field, and it's questionable if you give an error to him on the other one. Behind the back of the hitter, ball 3-1. You have other plays that felt like maybe potentially could have been made by the fielders, but for what it's worth, as we mentioned, the Jackrabbits have hit him hard. I mean, a lot of the hits, they've been earned. They've been liners out into the outfield. 3-1, swing and a miss. Full count. So a full count pitch here for Boardman. Called strike 3, and he's out. As that one right over the plate. But 7 runs come home to score in the top of the 7th inning. And the score is now 11-8 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. It's time to stretch here at Grossmont College.
strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Get your programs, peanuts, Cracker Jacks, soda pop. You're out. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care.
Welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Jarrett Vega up for the first time today, entered in right field in the previous inning and made an error out there in right field. Part of a 7-run 7th inning for the Jackrabbits. Pitches off the plate outside, ball 1. There's no way that's a strike, but it's called a strike, and the count is 0-1 here to Jarrett Vega. Vega entering in the spot for Brandon Benson, who finishes 0 for 3. Takes the lone away, ball 1. 1-1 the count to Jarrett Vega. Vega, a switch hitter, although, and as we mentioned, a little bit funny because he's typically a pitcher. Fly ball down the right field line. Easy play for the right fielder for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 up and 1 down for the Bucs.
Now batting.
Garrick Vargas to the plate.
16.
Vargas, he's reached all 3 times today. Couple walks, single, and a run scored in his 3 previous plate appearances. 9 and 10 due up in the lineup here for the Bucs in the bottom of the 7th inning. In an 11-8 ball game, the Bucs were leading 11-1 entering the 7th. Here's the pitch, up and in, ball 1. 1-0 the count, almost nearly hit Vargas in the head. So Vargas at the plate, and his OCC teammate Scott on deck. Once again inside, ball 2, 2-0 the count. Well, the Bucs are going to just keep plugging away and try to score some more runs. Hasn't been too hard today, as they've scored in every single inning except for the 4th. Little flare out into center field, but here there's 2 up and 2 down in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Number 10.
And this is closest the Jackrabbits have gotten to kind of really keeping the Bucs off base here in the first 7 innings. Because even in that 4th inning, as we mentioned, the Bucs stranded 2 base runners. Jake Scott to the plate. First pitch swinging, and they are going to set down the side in order. Fly ball to left field, easy play. And the side is retired. We'll head to the top of the 8th inning in an 11-8 ball game. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back as we head to the top of the 8th inning. Dave Sobera on the play-by-play. Glad to have you on InlandValleyBaseball.com. The score is 11-8. Jackrabbits scoring 7 in the 7th inning. And they have the top of the order due up again. They hit through the entire lineup in that 7th inning. So Cabot Van Til, 1 for 3 in the game with a run scored, comes to the plate, takes strike 1 on the inside corner. Jonathan Hopkins, the new pitcher on the mound here in the 8th inning for the Inland Valley Buccaneers. 6'5", 220-pound left-handed pitcher, misses outside ball 1. 1-1 the count. Playing at Pasadena City College as a sophomore, so a junior to be, looking to find a home for his final 2 seasons. Hometown of Arcadia. Went to Arcadia High School. Fastball up, ball 2. 2-1 the count here. Jonathan Hopkins last season, 44 2/3 innings pitched for the Buccaneers, which actually was the most in a single season for the Bucs. 3-1 the count, but this season has struggled mightily just to find the zone. And we're seeing that already here in his first at-bat, first plate appearance. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 3-2 the count here for Jonathan Hopkins. Hopkins, if you remember, entering against the Signal Hill Oilers in the 9th inning last time. Ground ball up the middle. Vargas can't make the play. It's going to go down as a base hit. Still, as we mentioned, the second baseman and third baseman, they switched positions. And play that Sheldon Borson probably handles over there at second. Hopkins, this will be his 8th appearance of the season. 17 1/3 innings, 4.67 ERA, 12 strikeouts on the year. Hopkins comes set. Here's a little pickoff throw over to first for Jonathan Hopkins. 11-8 is your score. The Bucs led by a score of 11-1 at the end of 6. 7 runs in the 7th have made it a 3-run game. Pitch is called a strike at the plate on the outside corner. 0-1 the count to Michael Diffley. Diffley's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts in this game. So Diffley just trying to make contact here. Here's the 0-1. Misses up, ball 1. 1-1 the count for Jonathan Hopkins. Hopkins also last season with 36 strikeouts was the second most in a single season for the Buccaneers and made the All-Star game. Fly ball, shallow left field. Jake Scott has it under control for the first out here in the top of the 8th inning. Van Til remains at first. He had the infield single up the middle. This is Gardner. Gardner's 0 for 2, but did draw a walk in the 7th and scored one of the 7 runs in that 7th inning for the Mission Trails Jackrabbits. So the lefty, as we mentioned, going to the right side of the infield a couple of times before that walk. This time going to the left side, foul territory. Sheldon Borson trying to make the play. And Borson makes the grab for the second out here. So 2 fly ball outs in a row for Hopkins after giving up a leadoff infield single. And up comes Romello Carbuccia. Well, we mentioned how the Bucs really, the first 2 games, for whatever reason, played poorly, but won them nonetheless. And in this game, they were out to what we expected for the entire tournament for the first 6 innings, and then they went right back to the kind of that really poor inning in the 7th. But still leading again, 11-8, the score, 0-1 the count here. The 0-1 foul down the first base line, and it's going to work its way out of territory. Aaron McCann running after it. Carbuccia is 1 for 3. RBI single and a run scored. All of that happening in the 7th inning, where, of course, the Jackrabbits got 7 runs. Way out in front here, though, is Hopkins. 0-2 the count. Let's see what it goes with. Way outside, and it's going to be a wild pitch. Over to second is Van Til. So now, runner in scoring position here in the top of the 8th inning for the Mission Trails Jackrabbits. But meanwhile, the count remains 1-2, so obviously Hopkins still with the opportunity to get the hitter out of the plate and to get out of this inning unscathed. 1-2's low for ball 2. 2-2 the count with 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. Bucs clinging to an 11-8 lead. As we mentioned, in the 7th inning, 6 consecutive base runners reached. 7 altogether. And, of course, all 7 scoring. 2-2 fouled out of play down the first base line. And it remains a 2-2 count. For what it's worth, in that 7th inning, Kenny Boardman struck out the side. Meanwhile, Hopkins comes set. Here's the 2-2. Nice breaking pitch, fouled at the plate. Good job there by Carbuccio, staying alive. I mean, that was a tough pitch to foul off. That's the name of the game. Just make some contact with it, stay alive, and see another pitch. And that's what Carbuccio is going to get here. Another 2-2 offering to come from Jonathan Hopkins. Hopkins actually entering in a save situation. Here's the pitch. Little fly ball to shallow right field. The score is 11-9. It's a base hit, RBI. So this is just ridiculous. There's no other word to describe it. For the Buccaneers, who led 11-1, and now it's just 11-9. And the tying run is at the plate. Daniel Eicher 1 for 3 with an RBI single and a run scored. Eicher to the plate. First pitch, strike 1. Oh, it's going to be called off the plate outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count. The Inland Valley Buccaneers now nursing an 11-9 lead in the top of the 8th inning. Wonder if people are going to look at the score and start tuning back in. McCann steps on the bag. The side is retired. But as we mentioned, another run comes home to score. The Jackrabbits have now made it 11-9 as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. You're watching on inlandvalleybaseball.com. To the bottom of 8 we go. What a weird change of events. I mean, we mentioned in the bottom of the 7th inning, there was a 10-run mercy rule, and now you're far removed from thinking about the mercy. It's 11-9 as we head to the home half of the 8th inning. Top of the lineup due up here for the Bucs. Drew Seelman takes strike 1. 0-1 the count to Drew. Drew entered in the 6th inning for Jordan Hernandez and flew out to center field. So 0 for 1 in the game. Here's the pitch. Line drive right at the third baseman for the first out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Side was retired in order in the bottom of the 7th. And 1 up and 1 down for the Bucs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Brad Lewis to the plate. Lewis 1 for 1 with an RBI single and scored a run in the 6th inning. Takes high and away. Ball 1. 1-0 the count to Lewis. Lewis batting in the number 2 spot for Kyle Jackson, as you remember, I'm sure. The 1-0. Up and in. Ball 2. 2-0 to number 2-0 from the Inland Valley Buccaneers. Brad Lewis. Lewis, as we mentioned earlier, from Western Nevada College. Here's the pitch. Line drive, deep left field, and that'll get down for a base hit. It's going to roll all the way back to the wall. It's a stand-up double for Brad Lewis. So Brad Lewis crushing and ripping a couple of them here in this game. And we talked about it yesterday. Yesterday he had a little bit of bad luck because pretty much every single ball that he hit yesterday was absolutely ripped, was scalded off the bat of Lewis, but it just happened to be right at the outfielders. Today, that's not the case, as Lewis 2 for 2 in scoring position here for Michael Mora. Mora has reached both times, singled in the 5th inning, and was hit by a pitch in the 6th inning, and also scored both times. So the Bucs hoping to get more production like that from Mora, who swings and fouls off the first pitch behind the plate. And the count is 0-1 to Michael Mora. Mora with 1 out and a runner in scoring position here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 11-9 the score. Here's the pitch. Once again, fouled off and out of play this time down the first base line by Michael Mora. Michael Mora at the plate. On the season, hitting .268, 8 runs scored, and 13 runs batted in. So obviously those numbers have gone up. Fly ball in foul territory down the first base line. Is it playable? No, it's not. Drops in the dugout. So as we mentioned, with 2 runs scored here today, now he has 10 runs scored on the season, still 13 runs batted in for number 44 out of Cal Baptist, Michael Mora, one of 4 Cal Baptist players on the roster, seeing 3 of them in action here today. Sheldon Borson and Kenny Boardman as well. Ground ball right side. Play will be made by the second baseman for the second out. Mora retired. Lewis to third on the play. And up comes Aaron McCann. We mentioned McCann in his previous plate appearance. When he had the 2-run single, he is a guy who really has swung a hot bat as of late. Here in this game, since entering in the 5th, 2 for 2, a couple singles, a couple runs scored, and a couple RBIs. How's that for a game? First pitch, just catches the outside corner for strike 1. And the count is 0-1 to Aaron McCann, the sophomore to be at Chaffey College. The 0-1, swung on and missed. Big uppercut swing. And it's now 0-2 to McCann. So no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of 8. Bucs ahead by a score of 11-9. Pitch misses low for ball 1. 1-2 the count. Man, 11-1 was the score. Now it's 11-9. I mentioned in the last inning, Hopkins actually entering in the 8th. Little flare at the shallow right field, and it's going to get down. The third base hit of the game for McCann, his 3rd RBI, and in comes Lewis. A much-needed insurance run here for the Buccaneers in the bottom of the 8th inning. Words that I never in a million years thought I would have said at the end of the 6th inning. But the Bucs get that insurance run here and take it to 12-9 now as Todd Yost steps up to the plate. Yost is 2 for 2, 3 RBIs and a run scored. Also had a triple. First pitch swinging, towering fly ball in the infield. That will be called for by the second baseman. And the side is retired, but a couple of base hits score 1 more run, and the Bucs take a 12-9 lead heading into the top of the 9th. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the top of the 9th inning. Jonathan Hopkins in for his second inning of work, entered in the 8th and allowed 1 run, and now has gotten 1 run back here. So 12-9 the score in the top of the 9th as Jonathan Hopkins is looking for a save here. As we mentioned in the 8th inning, words we thought we wouldn't utter when the Bucs had an 11-1 lead. The pitch misses low for ball 1 to Caleb Rosipal. 2-0 the count. So 2 balls, no strikes, no outs. Top of 9, 3-run game. 3-0. Oh, the pitch is called a strike, and it's now 2-1. I mean, if anything, I would have called the previous pitch a strike and that one a ball, but whatever it is, I guess it's 2-1. Pitch misses inside, ball 3, 3-1 the count. So a hitter's pitch to come here to Caleb Rosipal. Rosipal. And then the catcher will come up in Busella. Fouled off, and it's a full count. Hopkins coming with the fastball on the outside corner. Pitch that as a hitter definitely want to offer at. Try to punch into the right field. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. Leadoff walk here for the Jackrabbits. Up comes Basello. He's 1 for 1 with an RBI double. And a run scored here as he entered back in the 7th inning. Fastball upstairs, ball 1. 1-0 the count to the hitter at the plate. Hopkins, well, we've seen him come in a save situation earlier and didn't do too well on last Monday against the Signal Hill Oilers. This is his 2nd inning of work. Fastball high and away before a ball. In fact, actually, Kevin Bowler had to go to Vinny Haro in that situation to get the final out. But I would assume that he's going to leave Hopkins in to finish this game. Swing and a miss for a strike there. Hopkins once again falling behind in the count, though, for the 2nd straight hitter. 2-1 the count here in the top of the 9th inning with no outs. 2-1 swung on a miss. Strike 2, 2-2 the count. I think that's what you got to do if you're the pitcher. Just throw some strikes. The thing that you don't want to do is obviously start walking hitters, like actually was what happened to him. And that one was actually going to be out of the zone. Grounded to Hopkins. Hopkins to second. Yost to first. They get the lead runner, though, at second base. Fielder's choice. 1-6. It was kind of a weird play, just in the sense for the runner at first, Rosipal. Don't think he picked it off the swing. And so the first out here in the top of the 9th inning. As you know, in a 3-run game, the only thing you could ask for if you're the team at the plate is to get the tying run on board. They have yet to do that, but they do have a runner advancing the second on a wild pitch. And we've seen a number of wild pitches since the 7th inning. In fact, 4 wild pitches since the 7th inning. Hopkins taking his time. 1-0 the count for J.C. Montemayor. Montemayor, 2 for 3. Couple runs scored, also an RBI on the game. Hopkins comes set. Here's the pitch. Called a strike, and it's 1-1. Well, Jonathan Hopkins' focus needs to be with the hitter, not necessarily with the runner at second. It's a 3-run game, so that run doesn't necessarily matter. Here's the 1-1 off the plate outside, ball 2. 2-1 the count. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Top of 9. 12-9 is your score, excuse me. Bucs leading. The Bucs had a 10-run lead and saw it dwindle down to 2 before getting 1 back in the 8th to make it a 3-run lead. Swing and a miss, strike 2 there for the hitter Montemayor. Taking his lead off second base, Basello, the catcher, who entered in the middle innings. Hopkins, the 2-strike pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 3, down he goes. And that is the second out here in the top of the 9th inning. Up comes the plate. Zuffenmeister. Couple base hits in this game, also an RBI, 2 for 3. Guy who actually had the first base hit of the game for the Jackrabbits in the 3rd inning. Here's the pitch. Takes off the plate outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count. I mean, it actually seems like it was so long ago when Matt Goitia worked those first 5 innings and faced the minimum, but that was the only base runner that even got on base in the first 5. And as we mentioned, was then caught stealing. So that's how, for the first 5 innings, the Bucs pitcher, Matt Goitia, faced the minimum, and then it all changed ever since the 6th. Pitches off the plate outside, ball. In the 6th inning, the Jackrabbits got 1 back. And the 7th inning, they scored 7 runs. And then in the 8th, they got another. 12-9 is your score. Here's the pitch. 2-0 the count. Well, the last thing you want to do, 3-0, excuse me. The last thing you want to do is to walk this hitter and allow the tying run to come to the plate. But it looks like that might be, in fact, what happens here with Hopkins, as he's fallen way behind 3-0. Strike 1 called, 3-1 the count. Well, as you know, anytime a 3-0 pitch is anywhere near the zone, it's going to be called a strike. And so that's what just happened right there. The question now is, can Hopkins build upon that and maybe throw another strike? Here's the 3-1. Fouled off down the first base line, and it's a full count. So Jonathan Hopkins, payoff pitch to come, looking to really just have one more pitch here and get out of this game and give the Bucs a 12-9 win and take the save. He entered in the 8th in a 3-run game. Looking to close it out in the 9th. Still 3 runs. Ground ball, right side, base hit. The game will continue as the runner will be held at 3rd. And the Jackrabbits now do have the tying run at the plate. So, in theory, I guess you'd say with one swing of the bat, they could, in theory, tie this game up. Although none of their hits have been close to the fence. But the Jackrabbits will bring in a pinch hitter in this situation here, Shane Coleman. So, Shane Coleman, big left-handed hitter from Cal State San Marcos. Looks like a guy that probably could drive it pretty far. I'm sure that's why they put him in this situation. But it's a little bit funny you bring a left-handed hitter in against a left-handed pitcher. First pitch is a fastball, strike 1. 0-1 the count for Jonathan Hopkins. Hopkins, as we mentioned, entering in the 8th, has now allowed a couple of runs since entering. The 0-1 misses low for ball 1, 1-1 the count. Runners on the corners, 2 outs, 1-1 the count. The Bucs now clinging to a 12-10 lead. But as you know, as the home team, they will get a chance to get another bat if it ended up being tied. 2-1 the count. Pitch misses low for a ball. So the Buccaneers, of course, will bat in the bottom of the 9th inning. Meanwhile, Hopkins, the 2-1, fouled off, and it's 2-2. So for the second time now, Hopkins just one pitch away here from getting out of this game. Let's see what Hopkins goes to in this situation. Bucs looking for their 3rd victory in as many days. Made this one very challenging, way more challenging than it should have been. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The game has ended. And the Bucs win 12-10 over the Mission Trails Jackrabbits. To the Jackrabbits' credit, they never gave up. They kept fighting until the bitter end, and they ended up making it a 2-run game after falling behind by 10 runs at the end of 6. So the Jackrabbits showing a lot of fight there, and so obviously that's nice to see, obviously not giving up. But we mentioned that in the 7th inning, they could have been mercied, and they scored 7 runs and made a game out of it, to say the very least. But the Buccaneers, they finish 3-0 in this tournament. They ended up winning each and every game, really, in close games. I mean, they win one by 2 runs, one by 1 run, and now another one by 2 runs. But for the Bucs, man, what a tough 12-10 victory. I mean, like we said, playing not exactly up to standards for the entire tournament. And then for the first 6 innings, they finally played the way you expected, and it all fell apart in the 7th inning. And luckily for the Bucs, they were ahead by 10 runs. So I guess you'd say it didn't matter that much, just in the sense that, well, it didn't matter because, well, they tried to do everything they could to lose this game and just had too many runs ahead by 10, although the Jackrabbits cut it down to 2 a couple times. But the Bucs hold on. The win will go to Matt Goitia. The save is Jonathan Hopkins. A lot of RBIs and runs scored, of course, too, in a 12-10 game. So if you remember who hit him, it's all yours. But obviously, here, this is going to be a wrap. The Bucs finish this tournament 3-0, and that'll do it. The Bucs now, with this victory on the season, 15-9, and we'll say goodbye and a happy 4th of July to everybody watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.